It's my favorite time of the month. It's time to reveal the April 2019 Club La La Land Crafts kit. It is a beautiful kit this month. It is Parisian themed. So we've got Marci in Paris, and she comes with From Paris with Love, and It's a Good Day to Have a Good Day. And then we've got these sweet poodles, and they come with Today is Going to be Possum, Sending Oodles and Poodles of Love, Ooh La La, and Bonjour. And then we also have the Paris die, and the Paris die is fantastic. These pieces all cut out separately, so you have all separate letters, and then you have the Eiffel Tower separately and the lamppost separately. I'll show you more of that as we go through the project. And then there's also the rose bouquet die. Beautiful. And then we have the Harley Quinn plate die. And again, I will show you how that works as we go through the project. So you get Marci in Paris stamp set, Poodles of Love stamp set, the Paris die, the rose bouquet die, and the Harley Quinn plate. Retail value of $75.99, and you get it all for $39.99. Fantastic value. All right, so here's today's project with this month's kit. I created a mini album for my daughter's 8th birthday party. She loves Paris and all things Parisian. So on the front here we have Marci in Paris, and then we have the Paris die here. So that's how it cuts out, all separate pieces like that. And then here's the rose bouquet die, and then back here is the Harley Quinn plate, and I will show you that again in the book. I've also used our long flags here, our dies, and the large tag die, and I've used our brand new double stitched oval die here and our brand new scalloped oval die. And we also have in the corners here, I've used one of our brand new stencils with some embossing paste. So really cool. Let's get into this book. It's got a kind of a neat feature. So on the ribbon here, I have a little Eiffel Tower dangling, little metal Eiffel Tower. So this is the first page here. This is the inside front cover and has this nice large tag, one of our nice large tags with a pocket. And then it flips open like that, and there's space for photos. And then there's a 4x6 photo mat here and the little Eiffel Tower there. And then just some papers. And then as we get to the first page here, we have a little gatefold closure here where you can add some photos and some journaling on the side. And then it closes up like this. And then there's an insert back here. There's a pocket behind here, and then there's a big pocket behind here. And I've used our stitched bracket die here for the top of all the pockets, or of all the inserts. And here is the third and fourth page of the album. So I've got one of the adorable little poodles there with the Ooh La La sentiment. And again, I used the double stitched oval die and then the scalloped oval die back here. And this is what the Harley Quinn die looks like, cut out and backed with some pattern paper behind there. This is just an insert, a large insert booklet. And then there is also this back here, another insert back here. And this page is a double belly band. So you can also fit lots more back there too as well. And so here we have the Paris die again, and I've actually cut it out of white cardstock and then inlaid it with the letters cut out of craft, so it looks really neat. And then we have the rose bouquet die there, and every page has its large insert. And then back here is an external waterfall, so it's just like this. 4x4 photos fit there. And then this kind of a cool little feature here with the double stitched oval die. I created a little bit of a feature for the pocket. This book does have a full video tutorial following the walkthrough, So you will get to learn how to do all this fun stuff. So here I created an envelope pull out with lots of really nice inserts. Again, you'll learn how to do that in the video. So we get to the back of the book, and then we flip over and we have a whole nother section to the book. So I've used the poodle again here, one of the poodles. And again, I've left it all open behind so you can slip your photos behind there. There's the It's a Good Day to Have a Good Day from the kit. And again, the insert shows on both sides. And then there's the last 2 pages here, again with the super cute poodle there, and the Oodles and Poodles of Love stamp there. And this is one of the new Scalloped oval dies as well. So then you close it up and you're back to the front. So I cannot wait to show you how to make this fun book. You have until April 19th to sign up for the Club La La Land Crafts kit and start with this kit. So the video tutorial is following the walkthrough, so I hope you enjoy, and please make sure to post in our fan group if you make the book. I would love to see your version of it. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Okay everyone, let's get started on our tutorial today. So the things you're going to need is, of course, first and foremost, your April 2019 Club La La Land Crafts kit. And then you're going to need some cardstock. I'm using craft cardstock. This is 80-pound craft cardstock. I would not suggest going any lighter than that just because of the way this album goes together. You're also going to need some chipboard. This, I'm using our lightweight chipboard that we carry in our online store. You're going to need some envelopes. I'm using 6x6 envelopes, but you can probably use whatever size envelopes you like. It does not, as long as they're not bigger than about 6.5 by 6.5, they're probably good. You're gonna need a bone folder. You're going to need some double-sided adhesive, dry adhesive. I prefer this one. I'm doing 1/2-inch flaps and attachers on most of the album, all of the album, and this is 3/8 inch score tape. So this is the one I would suggest. You're gonna need a scissor. You're going to need some wet glue, not for very much at all, but we are going to use it. And then you're gonna need a scoreboard, and you're going to need a paper trimmer. So we won't be trimming very much in our tutorial, but I'm just gonna have it to the side in case I need it. Okay, so the very first thing we're going to do is wrap our covers. We're gonna make our covers for our album. So we need 2. So we need a front and a back cover. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I cut 2 pieces of our lightweight chipboard at 7 by 7. So that's the first thing you're gonna need is 2 pieces of our lightweight chipboard at 7 by 7. So the first thing we're gonna do is adhere these 2 pieces together just to make a bit of a stronger cover. So I'm using the Fabri-Tac here. I really like Fabri-Tac because you will never ever see it on the other side of your paper. You're never gonna see it bubble because it, no matter how thin your paper is, you're never gonna see it bubble. So we're gonna get it together like this. Stick it together so that it's all square all the way around. And then grab your bone folder and just burnish them together like so. Awesome. Okay, so the first thing, well, the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to glue this to the center of this piece of cardstock. And this piece of cardstock is 8.5 by 8.5. So I just took an 8.5 piece of 8.5 by 11 piece, put it in the trimmer this way and cut it at 8.5 on here. So it's not very much paper wasting at all. So we're gonna put some more of our wet glue on here. You don't have to be super careful with this step because it's all gonna be wrapped in the cardstock. Okay, so now we're gonna put this and center it onto our cardstock like so. Make sure it's even all the way around. It has a 3/4 inch border all the way around. You should be able to get a really nice bend. So my next step is I'm going to take my bone folder, or you could even use your stylus from your scoreboard, and I'm going to go around my chipboard like this. And what this is going to do is it's going to help my chipboard to bend up, and I'm not going to have to force it so much around my cardstock. Okay, so we've done that. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our score tape and we're going to put it around the perimeter of the chipboard, our 2 layers of chipboard. And if you're super fussy, or if that's just how you like to do it, you can cut your tape as you're going along. I don't mind tearing it. All right. So now we're going to do the same thing around the perimeter of our cardstock. So, okay. Okay, just like that. So the next thing we're gonna do while we have it flat like this, first let's quickly burnish our tape on, just so it gets a nice adherence to our chipboard and our cardstock. Okay, so while we have it flat like this, you're gonna take your scissor and try to bring it up fairly close to you here. So we are going to cut these corners on all 4 corners. But what we're gonna do is we're going to try to stay about a 1/16 of an inch away from the corner of our chipboard. So we're gonna cut across like that. And you'll see I stayed away just a hint there. That way our chipboard won't show when it's wrapped. And it's okay if you go not far enough in, because you can always fix that, but you can't fix it if you have not, if you've gone too far in. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna train our paper to come up. So what I like to do is I like to put some pressure in the middle with one hand, and then I take the other hand and just kind of slowly work it over like this. And that just is breaking the fibers in the cardstock. Okay, so let's get it all wrapped up now. So we're going to remove our backing off of our score tape. Just gonna take off all the ones that affect it. So we're just gonna work from the middle and press down like this. And we're just going to continue to do that all the way around. And burnish it in just a second here. Make sure none of your adhesive is standing out. Perfect. Okay. And now the last one. Bring it down. Just like that. And we have 4 nice clean edges all the way around. So now we'll take our bone folder and burnish these down really nicely. And if you do get any little nips like that, just kind of press them in with your bone folder. But that looks pretty good to me. Okay, so I have already wrapped my back cover. So you need a front and a back cover, and you're gonna do it the exact same way. So let's put those aside for a second here, and let's work on our pages for our album. So for this step, you will need your scoreboard. So you will need 4 pages that measure 7.5 wide by 6.5 high. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna put it in your scoreboard on the 7.5 inch side across the top, and you're going to score at 1/2 inch and at 1 inch. And you're going to do that for all 4 of your pages for your book. So then you would just burnish that and burnish that, and then put your score tape on this outside hinge here. So we have 2 hinges here. We have the 1/2 inch section, and then again another 1/2 inch section, and you're going to put your score tape on the outside 1/2 inch section. So you're going to take one of your covers that we created, and you're going to take the tape off of it. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna measure in, because our page base construction is 6.5 inches wide, and our covers are 7 inches. So we're gonna measure in, actually we could probably just do it right here on our scoreboard. We're gonna measure in 1/4 inch on each side. So you're gonna measure in 1/4 inch on this side and on this side. So it would be 6 3/4 on this side and 1/4 inch on that side. And then turn it over and measure in another 1/4 inch and another 1/4 inch, like this, just so we know how to align our pages onto our cover, and we can erase that after. So I'm going to move my scoreboard aside here. So I'm gonna work like this a little bit with it sideways. So I like to fold in, so we've got our page like this, so I like to fold in the piece that has the adhesive just so I can see better. And then what we're gonna do is you wanna line up the top with this line and the edge with that line. So we're just gonna go right about like this. So let's just, we're gonna try to fit this whole section into the guidelines that we've created there. So right now our book is sideways. So that's about where we're gonna want it. So once it's standing up, it should be even pretty much all the way around once this hinge is standing up the way it's supposed to be. So when our book opens, it's going to open like that. Okay, so let's continue on attaching our pages. So we're now going to attach our next page, which is going to be identical to this page we created here. You're again going to have your 2 score lines, and you're going to attach the adhesive to the back of one of your 1/2 inch sections like this, because it's going to go down like this. And again, I'm going to kind of put the book sideways just so I can line it up better. And we're going to take our tape off. Okay, and you're going to put your hinge up. You're going to bend it back like this, just exactly the same way we attached it here. And we are going to attach this one on top of this one here. Hopefully my head does not get in the camera. I'm sorry if it does. All right. So try to kind of make sure it's lined up along this edge here. And then along this bottom, all the way along, make sure it's nice and lined up for you. And then we can always burnish it a little bit into place afterwards if we didn't get it perfectly straight, but that looks good. So that's going to be like this. So now this page is actually going to flip back on itself like this. So we're attached here, but it's not going to go like this. It's going to flip back on itself like that. Okay, so now we can continue and attach our next base page. And we're going to do it in the exact same way as we just did. The adhesive is going to be on the back, and it's going to go down onto this. We're going to line it up as best as we can, and then attach it there like that. Perfect. And again, it's going to flip back on itself. So at this point, we have this, right? Straighten it all out. So that's where we're at right now. Okay, perfect. All right. Yes, okay. So let's attach our next base page, our final base page. And we will do it the exact same way. Line it up, the top and the sides, and then bring it down, and we'll press it down like that. Okay. All right. So now we should have this, right? Okay. Perfect. That's where we should be at right now. Okay, so this is what we have, right? So now we will attach our back cover, but if you notice when we come back here, we don't have the hinge that we had here to attach to our cover there, right? We don't have that hinge. So what we're gonna do is we are going to attach a hinge to this edge here. Okay, so we have a piece of cardstock that measures 6.5 long by 1.5 wide. So what we're gonna do, we're going to score at 1/2 inch, and then again at 1. So you're gonna have 3 equal sections in your hinge there. 3 equal sections, just like that. Okay. So now we're going to take and attach this hinge to this page the same way that we attached all the other hinges right on top here, or how we attached all the other pages together. Make sure none of our adhesive is showing. Okay, so we're just gonna line it up. You can press it back if you want, and line it up there, all the way along the edge, all the way down like that. So we've got that attached there. And if you do have any overhanging here, like I do, right there I have some overhang, we can just trim that off. Okay, and now we can attach our back cover with this hinge here. So this is going to come down on top of it like that. So again, we will measure in a 1/4 inch. This is perfectly square, so it doesn't matter what side we measure in our 1/4 inch at. So 1/4 inch, and then we'll do the same thing here and here. Okay, our scoreboard aside. All right, and we'll attach this. So we will remove our tape from here. And so this side is going to be a little bit more tricky. So let's just fold it up here like this, and so we can bring it up. I'm trying to see what the best way to show you how to do this is. Okay, again, we'll just fold it back on itself. Well, maybe, yeah, we could probably still do it upside down. Yeah, that could work. Okay, so line it up with your 1/4 inch marks there. No, that way's not gonna work. Okay, so we'll just line it up. So this line here needs to be lined up. This line right there, going along here, needs to be lined up with these lines here. So about like that. That's perfect. Right. Let me just see how far in that is. Okay, that should be good. So then place that down. And then we will fold it in like so. And then that's how your book looks. So you'll notice we have 3 spines back here, but we only have 2 up here. And that is because we had to put in this extra hinge there. So what I'm going to do to fix that is I am going to get one more page. Get one more page that like the one we created, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach it to the front inside of the pocket. No, of the front inside cover. I'm going to attach it right there so that when we close our book, we're going to have 3 hinges at the front and then 3 hinges at the back. So we're going to have equal hinges front and back. Okay, so let's do that. So we'll attach it to the front, and I'm just gonna eyeball this one. So we can line it up. A good way to do it is to line it up with this side here, line it up with this, the hinge we created over here, and then just kind of place it down, and it'll pretty much go. So make sure you don't, when you're putting it on, make sure you don't go past this score line here, because our book won't close properly if we do that. So kind of just put it there. Pretty much right up to, but not past that hinge there. Like so, and then you can go in and press it down like that. All right, and then just fold our pages back in. And so now we have equal front and back, like so. So we have 3 hinges in the front and 3 hinges in the back, which is the look that I was going for. So perfect. All right. So let's start getting some of our pretties in there. Okay. So this is the first page that you're going to see when you open the book. This will be the first page that you see. So what I'm going to do here is I have cut a piece of cardstock that measures 7.5 wide by 6.5 or 6 1/4 long for this one. So 7.5 by 6 1/4, because I wanted it to be just a little bit shorter than our page base. And then I scored at 1 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch over here, and then at 7 over here. So we have a 1/2 inch flap on both sides. Or you could score at 1/2 inch and then flip your paper and score at 1/2 inch, whatever works for you better. And I've created 4 of these as well for every base page. So if you want, you could pause, cut your 4 pages, and then cut your 4 pockets. So we're going to attach this pocket onto here, being careful not to cross either score line that we've got going on here. So we've got a score line here and a score line here, and it should sit just directly between those 2 score lines. You're gonna fold your flaps in that you created, and you're gonna burnish them like so, and then you're going to attach them. So I like to just remove one side of my tape first, just to be extra sure that I'm getting it nice and straight. Oh, and I forgot, we do need to put some adhesive across the bottom, because it's not much of a pocket if things are gonna fall out of the bottom. So put some adhesive across the bottom of your pocket as well, like so. And we'll just wait to remove that one as well. So you're just gonna line it up along the bottom here and kind of just bring it up to the top like that, and then make sure you're not past your score line, which we're not, so that's good. And then open it up, remove the adhesive there, and then you can also remove the adhesive on this one. Oh, sorry, remove the backing. And then we'll just lay it down. And like I said, it should just sit right inside those 2 score marks. Okay. All right, so then the next step is I'm going to attach a smaller pocket on top of this pocket. And this pocket measures, oops, sorry, shoot you there. This pocket measures, again, 7.5 wide by 4 1/4 tall. And I scored at 1/2 inch and at 7. Okay, and then while we're here, I also did another identical pocket to that. So I made 2 of the same pockets, so 4 1/4 by 7 1/2, scored at 1/2 inch on both ends. But this one, I also scored, I folded in the edges first, I folded in my flaps first, then put it in the scoreboard and scored it down at 3 1/4, which is the center line of this page. So let's go ahead and put some adhesive across the bottom of this one, of the one that does not have the line going down the center, okay? Now this one, what we're gonna do, I'm gonna move our scoreboard and we're gonna get a trimmer and we're gonna put it into our trimmer and we're going to put the score line right in the center of our track, like that. So now we get 2 equal pieces. So with 2, these are going to be little doors for a gatefold that's going to go on top of this pocket. So before we do that, let's attach our pocket. So the pocket is going to go on right directly on top of the pocket that we just put on. So it's going to go the same way. We'll leave the adhesive off the bottom for now, and we'll just line it up right on top of that other pocket. Okay, so we've got that lined up. So now let's take the adhesive or the backing off that side and the other side. And then just fold it down nice and smooth. Just like that. Okay. You can burnish it if you'd like. Okay, and then we're gonna take our little doors that we made and take the backing off of them. And we're gonna line them up the same way, all the way to the corner and all the way to the top on both sides of our pocket that we just did. Okay, line it up at the side and at the top, and then we can burnish it down. Okay, so there's our first little interaction. So it's gonna have a gatefold here where you can put photos inside, and then we're gonna do our little closure for it later. And then it has a pocket back here, so you can put a tag in there or an insert, and then it also has a pocket back here. Okay, so that's the first page. So now our second page would go around like this and would come down to this side here, like this. So it would fold and come around like this. But I'm gonna leave it open to work on it. So my idea for the book is to have 4 interactive pages, 4 pages that have an interaction, and then 4 pages that are just flat, just for photos and memory keeping. My dog is shaking around here. So for page number 2, we're gonna do a double belly band, but the belly band is gonna go this way, and then we're going to put another belly band right on top of it like that. Okay, so first we need to attach our large pocket. So it is exactly like this one. So it is 7 1/2 by 6 1/4, and then you score it on the 7 1/2 inch side at 1/2 inch, and then at 7. And then that's how you get your pocket. So we will put that on. So let's just put some adhesive again along the bottom. So our little treasures aren't falling out. And then I'll just take it off one side again, like so. And we will line it up. Not going across our score lines. Okay. And we can open it up and take that off, and then take off the adhesive on this side here, and just press it down. All right, so we've got our pocket on. Beautiful, we can burnish that. Okay, and now we will put our first belly band, the larger one. So this one measures 7 1/4 inches wide by 3 1/2. So it's 7 1/4 by 3 1/2. And then on the 7 1/4 inch side, you're going to score at 1/2 inch. And then the best thing for this one is just flip it around and score it at 1/2 inch again to get your first belly band. And then the smaller one measures 7 1/4 by 2. And again, you're going to score it at 1/2 inch, flip it around, and score it at 1/2 inch. She just came from the groomer, so she's a very happy puppy. She's running around and shaking everywhere. So, okay, so we're gonna take the top off, the backing of the top of it, and we're gonna just attach it right down the center. So our flap, make sure you're not going over your pocket up here because that'll close it up. So attach the top of your flap. Again, I'm very sorry if my head gets in here. So attach the top and just center it as best as you can. It doesn't really have to be perfectly centered. And then we'll take the backing off the bottom of the adhesive, of the tape, and we will attach it at the bottom, just like so. And then we can burnish down. Okay, and then let's get our second one on there. So this is the one that's 2 inches wide, and we're gonna put it right on top of it. Again, just line it up at the top there. And then I've already taken the bottom off this one and we fold it onto it there, just like that. All right, that is looking good. So now we have a double belly band on this page. So we will be able to put something in here and something in here, and then we also have our pocket at the top there. Okay, so let's go to page 3. So again, the first step is to attach our large pockets. Okay, so you should have 4 large pockets. So we'll take the adhesive off the one side of it. All right, and we will attach it along our score line there. Okay, it's good and straight, and then we will remove the backing tape, just like so. And just smooth it out and onto it. That way you know it's nice and straight and it's not going to bubble up for you. So this page is just going to have a simple pocket, just like this. And I'm going to take a bit of a break here from putting it on, and I'm going to show you how to get your pocket, this shape for your pocket. So we are going to get a piece of cardstock that measures, let's see if I can get everything in frame here. We're gonna have a piece of cardstock that measures 7 1/2 by 2 1/4 inches. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it in and we're gonna score it at 1/2 inch, and then again, flip it over and score it at 1/2 inch, just like that. And then what we're gonna do is you're going to take, and again, fold the flaps in, and you're gonna measure in 1.5 inches on both sides. So 1.5 in on this side, and from this side in, it's 5 inches, okay? So you're gonna take that piece, and you're gonna get your die cutting machine, okay? And you're going to take and lay it sideways, and these are our brand new double stitched ovals. Beautiful. So you're gonna take your oval and you're going to line it up just like this between those two lines, okay? So you're gonna put it in to your machine, line it up, okay, and then get your B plate or whatever your second cutting plate is. All right, now we're gonna run it through the machine, just like so. Okay, the machine aside. And you are going to have that beautiful edge, just like that. How cool is that? I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Okay, so for this page that we just attached our large pocket to, we are just going to attach this pocket, and it's gonna have an insert in it, but this is just gonna be a simpler page. So again, we'll put some of our tape across the bottom here, and I already have it on our two little flaps that we created for the sides. So we'll take that off. Okay, and we'll take the bottom. We'll just do it all at once here since it's a smaller piece. And we're gonna go all the way to the bottom of our large pocket and all the way to the sides. And then we'll be able to put a nice large insert in there. Okay, so let's work on our back page now. So now we have, again, our large pocket, which is gonna go on here first. So we will remove the backing of our tape. First difficult one I've had today. Okay, and I'm feeling pretty confident, so I'm taking all of it off at once. So again, we'll line it up here to the bottom, to the edge, all the way straight up. Okay, fold it in and bring it over. Perfect. Okay, so now we'll attach our pocket that we just created together on top of this pocket. All right, so that looks really good. Burnish it on there. Okay, so let's create our fun little waterfall for this pocket here. So it's going to be an external waterfall. So it's going to be able to come out, and this little pocket is actually going to be what keeps it closed at the bottom. So this piece measures 5 7/8 wide by 4 1/4, well, 5 7/8 tall by 4 1/4 wide. So you're going to need a piece like that, and then you're going to need 4 pieces that measure, you need 4 pieces that measure 4 3/4 high by 4 1/4 wide. Okay, and then you're going to take each one of your 4 pieces and you're going to score them at 1/2 inch on the 4 3/4 side. The 4 3/4 along the top, you're going to score them all at 1/2 inch. So you have 1/2 inch flap all the way down. Okay, so let's move this up so we can see what I'm doing here. All right, and we will take the tape off, or not the tape, remove the backing, and we'll go all the way to the top, but we're gonna leave 1/8 of an inch on both sides, but we will go all the way to the top. with our first flap. And we'll burnish it down, okay? And for your second flap then, you want to attach it right below your first flap, but kind of just don't burnish it down yet. Lay it down and then close your top flap and make sure they line up. And they do. So we'll go ahead and attach this one down as well, okay? And then we'll do our third one. Make sure all your adhesive is tucked in. So we'll do our third one like this. And again, before we press down it all, close it up, see if it lines up. And it does. And then we will get this one going. And we'll attach it to this underneath this line here. And again, close it up, make sure it's straight. They all are straight. So now we'll go through and we will burnish them down, just like so. All right. And then this whole adorable thing will go right into the pocket and it will stay closed in there. So it'll go right in here. And instead of having to add a closure, the pocket will keep it closed for us. So let's work on the back inside cover. So the first thing that we need to do is I'm going to use some seam binding as my closure. And I actually want a double ribbon seam binding closure. So before I put my pattern paper on here, I want to put 2 strips of the tape, take the backing off, okay, and then we will attach that right there, like so, okay, and then, you know, I would say leave maybe 16 inches just to be safe. I want a nice hanging type bow. All right, and we will do that again. So then we can pick up our next one or pick up the one we just did and measure how long we want it. Okay, and now I'm going to attach a piece of pattern paper to the back here. I'm using Doodlebug French Kiss for this album. And this piece that I'm putting on measures 6 3/4 tall by 6 1/2 wide. All right, so we've got that on there. Okay. And I just realized as well, with our front cover, we've got this piece already on here, and we needed to put our seam binding underneath it. So we're just gonna carefully peel it back. No big deal. Mistakes happen in paper crafting. It's important to know that. And so we're gonna kind of bring our front cover in here, or our back cover, and kind of see generally where we attached our pieces. And they're just kind of in the middle. I'm gonna be a rebel. I'm gonna eyeball it. So it's like there, and then I didn't go too far apart like there. Okay, so take that backing off. All right, and again, we will attach it there and leave ourselves about 16 inches. And we will do the same thing here. And again, kind of put it up to its friend and cut it off. All right. Now we can get our piece back on. So we'll just attach a little bit more tape here. And attach it on. Like so. Okay. Good. All right. And that's going to be covered up by our pattern paper. So let's work on our back cover here. Our back inside cover, where we just put down the pattern paper. So we're going to create a little accordion pocket with some envelopes. So the first thing you're going to do is your envelope measures 6 by 6 right now. These ones do, if this is the size you're using. So the first thing you're going to do is put it in your paper trimmer. Mine is backwards, so work however yours works. And I'm going to line it up at 5.5. And I'm going to cut just like that, okay? And then I'm going to take my next envelope and I'm going to line it up at 4.5 and cut it down to 4.5. Then another one I'm going to cut down to 3.5, and another one I'm going to cut down to 2.5. So these are going to be what I'm going to use. So we're going to attach the first one, the largest one. You're going to put some adhesive on the back. So the first one, because it's the one going down, we're going to put adhesive all over the back of it, like so. Okay. And you're going to place it down, kind of center to the bottom, so you have an equal space around these 3 sides, but not the top there. Okay. Put it on there like that. Okay, and then we're going to go with our 4.5 by 6 inch one. The only difference being this time, we're only going to put adhesive in the middle of it. Like leave quite a bit of the sides without adhesive. And the reason why, the sides and top, bottom, and then make sure it's going the right direction here. Okay. So yeah, so like this. The reason why is so that when we put it down, it will pull up. Like it's gonna pull up like this. And that's what's gonna give you the accordion. Whereas if we tape it all down, then it won't do that. Okay, our next one is going to be the 6 by 3.5. Well, they're all gonna measure 6 wide. And again, just in the center of it. And attach that, like so. Okay, and then our final one, which is the 6 by 2.25, or 2.5, sorry. And attach that to the bottom there. And let's get our bone folder. Give that a good burnish down. Okay guys, so let's put a few finishing touches on our album. I've already went through and added a few things. For the most part, it is actually finished on the inside. I've done all the layering and all of that fun stuff. And I'll show you more of that in the walkthrough. But for now, I decided that on this front flap here on the inside front cover that I want a pocket there, just so we can tuck some cute little tags in there. So this pocket is the same size as our other pockets. It's 2 1/4 by 7 1/2. And then we just scored it at 1/2 inch on each end. And then I attached adhesive to the sides and the bottom. So we will just put it right there. Nice and square to the bottom. Perfect. So this is on the inside front cover flap. So this is the back. So I've added the cute little Eiffel Tower there. And I've kept it open at the top. I didn't adhere it all the way down so we could still tuck our photos into there. So that's a cool little feature, and I cover the inside of that with pattern paper. So through the album, all the layers that I added in are just 1/4 inch smaller than our base pages and our pockets and belly bands and so on and so forth. So we're gonna work on our little closure here for our gatefold doors here. So what I've done is I've used one of our stitched circle dies here, and I've cut it 4 times. So I cut it twice with the chipboard, just 1 layer of chipboard, and twice with the pattern paper that I'm using. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna adhere the pattern paper circle on top of the chipboard circle, just like this. And same here. Adhere them together like that. Okay. So the next thing we're gonna need to do is we're gonna put some brads. In this case, I'm using some white brads, and we're gonna put them in the center of our circles that we just made. So I have a piercing tool here, and I'm just gonna make a hole right in the middle, and I'm being careful not to poke myself on the other side, but just a hole like that. I'll get 2 brads out. So we're gonna just put one of our brads through the circle there, like this. And then we're gonna just leave that for now, like open like that. And then let's do our other circle and stick the brad through there. Okay, so now I've got 2 pieces of pattern paper here that are gonna go on here like this. And these measure 4 inches tall by 3 inches wide, because these panels are 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. So these measure 4 by 3, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna place them on here, and we're gonna put our circles there and there. So the first thing we need to do, and again, I'm just gonna eyeball this. And actually, if your pattern paper is thin enough, you can probably just push it right through, but I'm just gonna kinda make a hole here where I want my circles. And you can measure in if you'd like to. So that's kind of where I want that one. And then what I'm gonna do is open up the back there, like so, so that now it's attached. And then I'm gonna take some double-sided tape here, and I'm gonna put it across that so it's really nice and secure in the back there. Press it down like so. And then take that tape off. And I've got some wet glue here, just so we can move it around a bit. And I'm gonna place it on here. Lift it up so I can really see what I'm doing. And make sure it's even on all 4 sides there. Perfect. Okay. So now we have this one on. So now we can kind of judge where we want that second circle to go. I'm just gonna kind of, again, guess. So about right there is good for me. And we will just pop it in there again through that hole. Okay. And then, you know, it's pretty much perfect. So then we'll open up the back. If you do want to measure, that's a great idea too. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Depends on what kind of mood I'm in. And then, so we did the same thing. We put some double-sided tape across the brad there. Make sure we get it going the right way. And then center it. There we go. That looks super cute. Almost looks like those cute little windows in Paris. With the pretty verandas. All right. So the next step is we're going to take some twine. This is kind of a thicker twine, and you can use whichever kind you want. And we're going to put it under one of our circles. Give myself a little bit more there to work with. And then on one side of it, I'm going to tie a knot. All right, just so it stays under there. Okay. And then we'll cut it off so you can't see that side of the twine there. Okay. And then all we're gonna do is wrap it under this one and bring it back through here. And you can wrap it as many times as you want, just like that. And then cut it off. It's a little neater cut. But yeah, so then that's your little closure there for your little gatefold piece, which I think is super cute. So the next thing we're gonna work on is, remember on every page we created this large pocket up here. So the next thing we're gonna do is make the insert. So our insert measures 6 1/4 wide by 5 3/4 tall. So 6 1/4 wide by 5 3/4 tall. And so I've used the bracket die, the stitched bracket die, and I have cut it once out of the same cardstock as the base, and then once out of my pattern paper I'm using. So we're gonna back them onto each other because this insert is gonna be seen from both sides of our thing here. So we're just gonna back them up to each other like that. Perfect. So I've already attached my tape here. So it's just a 1/4 inch piece of tape that I ran across the bottom. And then we are just going to put this across the top here, like so. Perfect. And then it's just gonna slide in like that. How cute is that? So that's page 1 done. And I've already got all the inserts in the other ones. I'm going to show you the other side here really quick. So once we get through the album going this direction, like this, you can then start going this way on the other side. And I've kept this super simple. All I've done is put 4 1/8 by 6 1/8 photo mats with white cardstock on each page, and then a 2" by 6 1/8 strip of pattern paper, kind of alternating, because when it does all open, you're gonna see it all at the same time. So that's why I wanted to just alternate that. Okay, so that's our basic book put together. And you will see everything else in the walkthrough. I'm super happy you joined me for this project. I had so much fun creating it, and I had so much fun using the April kit to create it, and I hope that you create one for yourself. And please like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. So I hope you have a wonderful day and a fantastic week. Bye-bye.